What is up, YouTube? This is World War Black Ops Pro, and today I'm gonna talk about why the weapons in Black Ops 3 just look so unrealistic, and honestly, they remind me more of Nerf guns than actual like plausible futuristic weaponry. They really do, and I'm gonna tear them a new one because Treyarch is one of those companies like they pretty much exclusively develop first-person shooter games, and they've been doing this for years, right? I think since Call of Duty 3, and they still don't really know like how weapons actually work, how they actually look like in the real world. Because we're playing Black Ops 3, yet there are absolutely no versions of like no futuristic versions of like the M16 or M4 or anything like that. Like all the weapons remind me of Nerf guns or something you would see at Toys R Us. So let's get into it, shall we? Now I'm going to start off with SMGs. So the Kuda, and quite honestly, it looks okay. I mean, we have a lot worse examples on this list of weapons that just don't work, that aren't plausible. I mean, it looks kind of like an MP5K slash UMP45, so I mean, I'll give this one a pass because it doesn't look terrible. Next, we go on the VMP. Now, I don't know what's going on with this gun. Like, it just the whole gun seems slanted forward. Like, I don't get it. Like, and if you look towards the barrel, like, yeah, to the barrel. It looks like there's like spice coming out or something on the front. Like I have no idea what's going on there. And then you look at the magazine, like what's with that with the triangular pattern and stuff there. I don't get it. And then the color scheme, I don't really like the color scheme. I just think the yellow stands out too much, and I don't see why any gun would have a yellow because again, you're not trying to stand out. You're trying to camouflage. The whole point of camouflage is to blend in, not to stand out. Then I mean, that's not even the worst one, though. I mean, it looks okay compared to some of the other ones we have here. Next, we have the Weevil. Now, number one, who names a gun the Weevil? I don't know any gun manufacturer would ever name a gun the Weevil. It just doesn't make sense. So it basically looks like it's basically based on the P90, okay? I mean, just give us the P90 because whenever you try to innovate Treyarch, you just kind of mess it up. Like, what I feel they do is they try to take guns they've already had in the Call of Duty series and they try to innovate on it by adding all this futuristic looking stuff. But the thing is, it just makes it look so unrealistic you can't take it seriously. Like on the barrel there, I don't know what those like that polka dot thing on the barrel, like the little dots and stuff. Like I don't understand what that's about. And overall, it just doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's a name. I think the name really kills this gun, like the Weevil. Like that idea, I just can't take it seriously when there's a gun called the Weevil. Next, we have the Vesper. This gun looks terrible, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure what's with the magazine. Like, why is it at that angle? Like, it just slanted. It's slanted backwards. Like, okay, if it's slanted forwards, I can kind of understand. But it's slanted backwards, and then, like, I don't understand. Like, who designs this stuff? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And again, it just has a, like, the whole gun feels slanted and stuff. Like, I don't know. And plus, I'm not sure what kind of name a Vesper is. Like, I mean, okay, it's better than Weevil, but still, it just doesn't look. It just doesn't look like something that the military would buy, honestly. Then we got the Pharaoh. Again, what kind of name is Pharaoh? I don't get it. Like, I guess they're just trying to make up weird names that sound cool for the guns, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't work here. But there are more problems with this gun than meets the eye at first because you know, despite having a stupid name, if you look on the side here, it said there's like a little switch that says burst. Okay, so you're telling me that the fire selector switch is just a little like button, like an on-off switch, pretty much, and then you're telling me that safe is just like a little push button and not like a little, not a true safety. Like honestly, it doesn't look like they know what they're doing. It just looks like they're okay. Like okay, let's put an on and off switch here, and because most of our fan base consists of 12-year-olds nowadays, I don't think anyone will notice. Like back in the day when they made shooters set in the modern time, they actually had to put real guns in there, so they actually had to put attention to detail in their guns, right? But nowadays they can just make up whatever they want because it's in the future, right? And And people can't say, oh, that wouldn't exist in the future because the future hasn't happened yet. But just some things are so unrealistic that don't make any sense. And the Razorback takes the cake for the most ugly SMG I've ever seen. Not only does it have a slanted magazine like the Vesper, which doesn't make any sense to me, it just doesn't look right. Like something about this gun just makes it look really, really ugly. I don't know what it is exactly. I mean, maybe it's the iron sights how they go forward like that, or just that little hand guard thing you have at the front, like just the overall design. I don't know, but I can guarantee no one would ever buy this in their right mind. No government, the army would never buy this. Like the military would never buy this. So I'm not sure why this thing would ever be developed. That's the thing. Yeah, but moving on. Let's move into assault rifles. The KN-44 is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like an AK-47 of the future. But there's just a few problems with it. Now, number one, like if you look really closely on like I would say the receiver area, you will see that it says like the caliber, weapon caliber, and it says 7.62 by 51. So, and what 7.62 by 51, in case you guys don't know, that's the NATO full power cartridge that's used for like sniper rifles. So basically, you have an assault rifle firing a sniper rifle caliber. Okay, well, that's not completely unheard of because you have things like the Scar H, which fire full size cartridges. So it's actually classified as a battle rifle, but never mind that. But here's the thing: we have an AK rifle firing a full size cartridge. This thing should be firing something like 7.62 by 39, and not only because that's what the real AK fires, but also because the magazine is curved. Now the reason AK magazines are curved is because the round's tapered, so it's kind of like a triangular shaped round, and when you stack them together, they start to curve. They start to form that curvature in the magazine, which is why the magazine's curved. But if we're not firing that, then why is the magazine curved? I don't get it. So this gun is supposed to fire 7.62 by 39, but instead the developers have no idea what they're doing, no idea what they're talking, no idea what they're doing, which is quite sad because they're making a game based on guns, and so they decided to make it fire a full size cartridge. So basically, if that was true, it should be as powerful as like your sniper as a sniper rifle, but it's not. And anyway, just overall, it just doesn't. They add a bunch of unnecessary features to it. I think like the magazine, like why is it there that like engravings, like weird engravings everywhere on the stock, on the magazine, on the handguard? I don't get it. It just doesn't look right to me. Like they add too many fancy things on it. Like to the point where the military would never buy this because the military isn't gonna pay for all this fancy crap on your gun. They just won't. So why Von Har thinks that this is okay, I don't know. But anyway, moving on. The XR2, it looks okay. I mean, not too big complaints because the worst guns. We still have a lot of bad guns to go. So I'm not gonna harp on this gun too much because it's not terrible looking, but it is just okay. I mean, the white color scheme. I'm not sure why anyone would just have a gun painted white, but okay. Maybe you want to stand out. Who knows? Oh, the HVK-30. Like, who designed this gun? Honestly, he had this muzzle brake looking thing at the front that just looks weird. The mag well, like you can see through it partially, so like I have no idea what's going on there. Uh, like it just doesn't. It looks honestly like a toy, like a plastic toy. It reminds me of a Nerf gun. Like half these guns remind me of Nerf guns because they just look so unrealistic. You would never see them in combat, even 50 years from now. So yeah, this gun it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and also I'm not sure why it's this like this dark like this light brown color. It's like this tan light brown color. Like I'm not sure why they chose that color scheme. I'm not really sure why because a lot of guns are black or yeah, I'm not sure. But we don't know what's going through Von Har's mind, so who knows? Next we have the ICR, and this gun has like gills. It basically has like gills right in front, like right where you put your hand, like on the handguard. You have like gills right above that. So like I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm really not sure what's going on there. But that's not the biggest problem. If you can look at like the receiver area, like right above the trigger. and you'll see a green light, and on the green light it says on, and on the other side of that green light, like, it says off, and there's a little fire selector switch there. Why would they put an on and off switch on a gun? That doesn't make any sense. You see, there's a reason why they don't put electronics on guns like this, is because if electronics fail, then you're pretty much shit out of luck. So they would never do this because, in the field, you have to, field repair guns and do things like that. Like, and if some complicated electronic breaks down, well, you're screwed. You can't do anything about it. Okay? And like, what is the on and off switch like a replacement for a safety? So like, okay, you turn your gun off when you don't want to fire it, and you turn it on when you need to fire it. Is that what it is? Because we already have safeties, and safeties don't require electronics. So yeah, so there's no chance of electronic failure there. So we already have safeties and things like that. So why do we need this on and off switch? It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. Like, the military would never buy this. Like, they have smart guns coming out like today. Like, they have some models of smart guns, but they're ridiculously expensive, and they fail a lot. So why would the military ever invest in something that's ridiculously expensive and that fails? They wouldn't, and that's the thing. So, and that looks like the only fire selector switch. So I guess you either you fire an automatic or the gun's off. I mean, there's no burst, there's no semi. And by the way, the military almost never uses full auto. Like, they usually just most of the time they keep their rifles in semi, because if you keep it in full, you burn through your ammo and you're not very accurate. And you need to be accurate. So they keep them in semi. But in this game, I mean, yeah, sure, you keep it in full auto because otherwise the little kids and their short attention spans aren't gonna like that. But it just that's just another thing. Like, it doesn't make any sense, guys. And it doesn't make sense today. It's not gonna make sense 50 years from now. Because if you look at what we're using 50 years from now, or 50 years ago, we were using the M16 in Vietnam and stuff, and we're still using. Well, we're phasing out the M16, but we're basically using the M4, which is similar to the M16. Okay. So it's not that different. So 50 years from now, we're not gonna have all these. We're not gonna be flying around. We're not gonna have like freaking motherships flying around. We're not gonna have that because the military would never pay for this stuff, and it's not practical. Now let's look at the Man of War. So this is supposedly a very powerful rifle, but it's a 30 round magazine. But the magazine is smaller than all of its peers. Like, if you look at the magazine, it's tiny, and they claim that it holds 30 rounds. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, but you know, if you give me a more powerful gun, I'm assuming that the caliber is larger. Like, you're firing a more powerful caliber, it's just larger, and then here, but I'm not sure how you fit a larger bullet in a smaller magazine. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, let's skip over that because I mean that's probably a minor deal. But here's the thing: there's more problems with this gun. Like, if you look at the mag well, there's like something that covers like half the magazine when it's in. Like, I'm not sure what the hell is that for. Like, that would get in the way of reloading, especially like when you need to get like in combat. Like, that would get in the way of reloading. The military would never buy this. They just wouldn't. It, so that's another problem. And then if you look at the trigger, like, I'm not sure what's going on with that trigger. It looks like, I don't know, like a touch screen or something. Like, what kind of trigger is that? We're not gonna have touch screen triggers. I don't think. I really don't think so, because the minute you add complicated electronics in there, the minute there is for a chance for failure, right? And then you gotta include like a battery source or something to power the damn thing. And yeah, if your battery dies, then what are you gonna do? You see what I mean? It just doesn't make very much sense. Why you would put a bunch of electronics on guns? But okay, let's move on. Let's move on because we got more stuff to talk about. The Shiva. What kind of gun is? What kind of gun is this? It like I don't know what the hell's going on here. It's just really ugly. The trigger doesn't make any sense, and I'm just not sure what's going on here, guys. I really don't know. Ah, man. Yeah, but you know, the military would never buy this because it fires hella slow. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on there, but moving on to the M8A7, obviously based on the M8A1 for Black Ops 2. I mean, it looks somewhat okay, but then again, I just feel they add too much futuristic uh, designs to the gun, like engravings. Like honest, give us modern guns. Like, what do you see like all those futuristic engravings like in Modern Warfare 3 or something? Like a game like that with real guns? No, not really. You wouldn't see any of that. So we're moving on to shotguns now. KRM. Okay, the KRM. I don't get what's so innovative about this shotgun that makes it like a plausible gun for 50 years in the future. The only thing that's different about this gun, like the Remington 870, is that the magazine tube is on the top. Why is the magazine tube on the top? Like, if you reload this thing, like, you have to open it up and there's all this complicated mechanism you have to get through. I'm not sure why the military would buy this. Like, the minute you make a gun more complex, the easier or the harder it is to repair it, to clean it, the harder it is to manufacture it, which means the cost is going to go up. So we got a really expensive gun that sounds like it's going to fall apart, that wouldn't be able to be, like, repaired in the field very easily. So I'm not sure why they would buy that. Then we got the Brecci. I mean, it looks okay, the Brecci or whatever. It looks okay. But then again, like, shotguns aren't really used in combat anymore. They're like, yeah, sure, you could point to like World War II or something, World War One, where you had like the trench gun, but that was a different era. And now you use it, okay, for door breaching, but you don't really see people running around fighting jihadis with shotguns. You just don't see that. And Haymaker, same thing. Like, I think they just add too much futuristic bullshit to these guns. Like these guns, like to make it look cool, but in the process of making it look cool, they make it look so stupidly unrealistic. Like even like the Argus, like look at the stock. Like it just looks dumb. I'm not sure how else to put it. And then the Argus, you know, you got a circular magazine you put on the side. Like I don't get it. Like I'm not sure how that works. Like if you make it way more complicated than it has to be, makes it more expensive to produce, make it more expensive to repair, and like I don't get it. Like you're trying to make it futuristic, but then you add all this wood, like wooden pistol grip, wooden handguard, wooden stock. Like you're trying to make it look like an old, and you're trying to make it look modern. So I don't or futuristic. So I don't get what you're trying to pull there, Vonderhaar. Not only that, but lever action is not used anymore for a reason. You see, we switched over to bolt action guns around the turn of the century, like most armies did, because when you have a lever action gun and you go prone, it's very hard to, well, it's a lot harder to cock it when you're prone. But with a bolt action gun, it's much easier to. So we switched over to bolt action for a reason, and the military will never go back to lever action. They just won't. That's like something from the days of cowboys and yeah, no one will ever go back to that. That's just pretty much antiquated technology. And yes, some guns of the civilian market have that, but we're talking about combat guns here, guns that are used in, it's supposedly used in warfare 50 years from now, and they're just not realistic. Now the BRM here, it looks okay. I mean, yeah, it looks unrealistic to a degree. I mean, especially the stock there. It looks like it's made of plastic. But, you know, compared to the other guns, like the guns I'm going to go over next, it just, it looks okay. It's passable, okay? I'll give Treyarch that. Oh, the dingo. I don't get what's going on with this dingo here. Number one, you got I call it the dildo because you got this you got this big magazine, right? This big cylindrical magazine hanging out the bottom, and it just looks dumb. Like, what kind of magazine is that? Like, I don't get it. And it looks it looks overly complicated when you could just have it like belt fed or something like that. And then it's got two barrels. Like one, I'm assuming is for the actual machine gun, like function of it. And then another one, I'm assuming is an undermount master key shotgun, which you can't use in game. So I'm not sure why they put it in here because it looks like there's two triggers and there's two barrels. So I'm assuming one of them is a master key. Why would they do that? I'm not sure why. You can't even use it in game, and plus, like, LMGs are supposed to sit back and provide suppressive fire. But when you have, like, why would you need a shotgun on your LMG if you're going to sit back? and pick off targets at range. I don't get it. If you're up in their face, yes, I would see why you might want a shotgun. But the dingo is really just a big oversized weapon. It looks like it has an oversized dildo coming out the bottom, quite honestly. So, what the hell was Treyarch thinking? Like, what kind of name is dingo anyway? Like, I don't get it. It has the yellow stripes on it. Yeah, sure. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Moving on to the gore gun. Now, this is something like they call it a heavy machine gun, but this is really something that should be mounted on a vehicle. And I'm not sure why infantry is carrying this around, but they are. Look, part of this gun looks like a Nerf gun. Like it really reminds me of the Vulcan Nerf gun because of the bipod. Like the bipod looks like it's made of plastic almost. It doesn't look like something you would actually use. I mean, this thing's so big, you need a tripod at the very least, if not full on mounted on a vehicle. And the trigger, it just doesn't make any sense. Like I'm looking at the trigger right now, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And I don't know why the magazine is the box mag is on the right hand side because if you're most people are right-handed, and if you're right-handed, you have to take your hand off the pistol grip and off the trigger to reload that thing to reload that thing. But however, if it's on the left hand side, you just take your left hand and you can replace the mag that way. So I'm not sure why they decided to do that. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just dumb. Like I expect some more from these guys. We pay $60 for this game, and these guys supposedly um, are developing FPS games that take place in a plausible future. But this isn't plausible. This is just bullshit. And then next we got the 48 Dredge. Reminds me of like the Mark 46 or something. It's similar to that. I mean, it's passable again, kind of like the BRM is. It doesn't look completely unrealistic, but they just got to tone down the engravings and all this other, not the engravings, but just the futuristic style here because I think again it detracts from the realism and it just makes it look dumb. But overall, it's okay. It's a solid effort. Okay, next we got the Dracon, which the Dracon I don't get what's going on here. Like we got the magazine coming out the side. We got like this future like the rifle is supposed to be futuristic, but it's got wooden furniture. So yeah, I mean it's kind of like the Argus, where it's kind of split between like the past guns and the future. Because right now the guns today they're made of polymer because they're made of polymers because they're lighter, right? They're trying to cut back on weight, so they're trying to make it out of a light material. But here, like I don't get why they would go back to wood. Like it reminds me of something like the Dragonov or something similar to that, but that was a Cold War era weapon. So I'm not sure why would we go back to that 50 years in the future. It doesn't make any sense. Next we got the Locust. Now the Locust, it doesn't make it just doesn't make too much sense to me. I mean, you cycle the bolt so fast, it's ridiculous. Like I'm not sure why. I mean, they wanted to appease the quickscopers. Okay, you want a piece of quickscopers? That's fine. And then the stock doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Yeah, I mean, yes, they do have fold-out stocks even today, but just the way they do it, like a lot of the problems I have with these guns is just the style. They just don't look like something you see the military using today. Because 50 years from now, we're going to be using modern variants of the guns we have today. That's really what's going to how it's going to pan out. But that's not completely the most unrealistic sniper in this category. We have the PO6. Now this is a 3-round burst sniper, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever, okay? The goal of sniping is long-range precision. We're not trying to provide, like, suppress the fire. We're not supposed to, like, send a hailstorm of bullets in their direction. So, there's a reason why the sniper is saying is, like, one shot, one kill. Because you're supposed to only fire one bullet and get a kill. You're not supposed to like spray your entire magazine at someone and hope you hit something. That's not what sniping is about. But with the PO6, you fire 3-round burst, which doesn't make sense. Like the first shot should kill them. If it doesn't kill them, then you have a pretty weak sniper rifle. And like this thing's more of an assault rifle, just with a sniper scope and higher damage. That's really what it is. Now here's what doesn't make sense. How does the 3-round burst feature really work on this sniper rifle? Like, I don't get it. No one would ever make a 3-round burst sniper rifle. For some reason that they don't. I don't think they make full auto sniper rifles because they're not accurate. Like, accuracy is key. They still use bolt action sniper rifles because they're more accurate than a semi. So why would they go to burst? It doesn't make any sense. You're spraying bullets everywhere. You're not going to hit your mark, and you're going to waste ammo. Again, it doesn't make any sense. Now, last we have the SVG 100. Oh boy, the SVG. This is probably one of the ugliest guns I've ever seen. Like it. I mean, literally, it looks like it's made out of like scrap metal or something. Like that's what it looks like. And if you look at the mag well or something. Like it's like doesn't even completely cover the magazine. It looks like that's what it's supposed to do. It's like cover the magazine or something, but I mean, it does it to the point of being like obstructive. Like it looks like I'm not sure what's going on here. It looks like it's supposed to cover the magazine to some degree, and then you got the trigger. The trigger looks stupid again. Like I'm not sure. Red triggers, really? I mean, who picks this color scheme on these weapons here? And then the railing on top, like it doesn't. It just looks like it's made out of some really cheap steel or something. And steel, like why are all these guns made out of steel? We moved the polymers for a reason. It's much lighter than steel, and weight is a very critical factor in designing a gun. So anyway, guys, yeah, that's about all I have to say. These guns are so unrealistic. It's insane. Honestly, like half of them look like toys, and the other half just don't make any sense. And there's only like maybe 2 or 3 weapons that might actually have a chance of, you know, making it to the real world military. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on these guns. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and see you guys later.